On the news this afternoon, Governor Wike tackles Task Force Riwama in statewide broadcast. Stakeholders speak on State of Nation ahead of Democracy Day. Gunmen abduct students in Zaria, Kaduna State. On the foreign scene, man who slapped French president gets jailed. I am Ifiemi Andrew. Governor Nyesom Wike says erring members of the Rivers State Task Force on Illegal Street Trading and Motor Parks will be punished. His comments followed the killing of a bus driver on Tuesday by an NSCDC official attached to the task force. In a state broadcast today, Governor Wike spoke against misconduct among task force members.
We have also heard reports about the excesses of the state task force on illegal trading and parking on our roads, especially the alleged shooting of motorists, extortions, and abuse of the human rights of citizens. Recall that the previous task force was disbanded on account of similar reports and will not hesitate to bring the full weight of the law on any member of the task force who crosses the boundaries of the law and rational behavior. We wish to assure you, therefore, that severe action will be taken against anyone of them found to have acted beyond their powers against the criminal laws of the country. However, we wish to also appeal to motorists and residents to be responsible road users by complying with clear regulations against illegal trading, indiscriminate parking, and irresponsible driving on our streets.
Governor Wike also threatened to disband the River State Waste Management Agency Riwama if they fail to improve in 1 week.
The management of the State Waste Management Authority is hereby directed to clear the state of filthiness within 1 week from today or be disbanded without any further notice.
He also said his administration would not yield to pressure to relax the night curfew in the state.
We will continue to take the war on criminality and insecurity to the den of the criminals and will neither yield nor lower the tempo of our assault until they are comprehensively neutralized. As a matter of fact, they want us to prematurely terminate the statewide night-time curfew in order for them to have the leeway to operate again and roll back the gains of the last few weeks. But we shall not give in to any such pressure, as the security of lives and property is more important for us to safeguard at all costs than the business or social interests of anyone else or group. Let me therefore assure you that the existing curfew will not last 1 day beyond necessary, and plead with all of us to endure the temporary inconveniences in the interest of the state and our collective well-being.
Moving on, ahead of Democracy Day celebration tomorrow, PDP Chairman Rivers West Senatorial District Robinson Ewo has said that Nigerians have a lot to celebrate despite various calls for secession and insecurity in the country. In an interview with our correspondent, he said the fact that the country has been able to stay united despite its challenges is enough reason to celebrate democracy.
We ought to celebrate Democracy Day. That despite all the challenges from the north, from the east, from the west, and from the south, that we have continued to remain a United Nation. Not just a United Nations, we are confronting our challenge, and sure, we will one day overcome all the challenges that is confronting this country.
Citing the current ban on Twitter, Mr. Ewos called the current administration low in the practice of democracy.
People manipulate the electoral process and impose leaders on us. And the ripple effect is what we are seeing today. We have a president that cannot talk to his people. We have a president that cannot communicate. What do you think will be the outcome of his rulership? They have not done well. Look at the country. There is insecurity everywhere.
He also called on Nigerians to remain united and vote out the APC come 2023.
We should keep faith in this country as a nation. We must continue to remain united. That way the Committee of Nations can give us the needed accordant recognition. If we split, Biafra, Ododowa, South, North, we cannot take us anywhere. The election is by the corner. 2023 is by the corner. If they want to see a better future beyond 2023, they have to come out to vote out APC's government.
On his part, spokesperson of the River State Civil Society Organization, Solomon Lenu, says although Nigerians should be encouraged to celebrate Democracy Day, there is really nothing worth celebrating.
I don't think there is much to be celebrated, and the reason is because all the issues which surrounded that event of 1993, we are still having them today. So, what are we really saying? If we are celebrating June 12th as a democracy day, it should have been that as we speak today, we no longer have electoral malpractices, we no longer have electoral killings, we no longer rig elections and stuff like that. But as we speak to you, we are even seeing those things even in a more crazy and abysmal fashion than it was back then. But then we must continue to do it. Serves as a constant reminder of an incident that we needed to move away from.
Staying with this, a public affairs analyst, Gift Walu, says Nigeria has recorded some good outcomes from democracy but failed in the practice. Speaking in an interview, Dr. Walu said both the political class and the electorate do not understand how democracy operates.
And so in the end, what we have is not democracy in the true sense of the word democracy. It's just a democracy in name. Because if you look at the boxes, you find in a democracy, the ballot box, jury box, the cartridge, the gun, and then you will see that most elections in Nigeria are decided by the jury box, not by the ballot box. And that's dangerous. And then when you also see that the gun box is also playing, or the cartridge box is also playing a very serious role in our democracy, it takes away the power that the people have to decide who governs them and who doesn't.
He, however, called for an end to consumer mentality in Nigeria.
In terms of resource attraction, we're not there. And that is why when you look at our balance of trade, the import-export balance, ships come into Nigeria with goods and leave Nigeria empty. It speaks volumes about the kind of economy that we run. It is only in Nigeria that you have the number of public holidays that we have. When you add that to Saturdays and Sundays where people, statutorily don't go to work, when you add that to the number of strikes, when you add that to the poor attitude to work that Nigerians have, you see that our productivity level is very low and it manifests in our GDP.
Also, a lecturer with the Department of Political and Administration Studies, Dr. Eddie Obomanu, says Nigeria is not practicing democracy.
See some governors behaving as if they are kings over their subjects, and they have subjects. You won't call that democracy. The mere fact that every 4 years you call us to come and vote, and after that we'll go back, the next 4 years will come. That is if even our vote counts, does not make it democracy. There are certain things that make a society a democratic society. Things like liberty of the individual, right of the individual, even the security of the individual. All these things add up.
He said democracy in Nigeria has so many resistance.
It's like pushing somebody to the wall, they'll fight back. So when they fight back, it's not going to be like Fulani and the South. No, it is going to be those people who are aggrieved because of what they have lost in society. So there will be an antithesis, and we're expecting that soon. Showed up with the EndSARS thing. Brightest provocation, there's a strike. As we're striking, doctors are striking. These are resistance that are building up. The consciousness of the people are being awakened day by day. And by the time it gets to the peak, you see that they will now stand up and change society.
Still ahead, gunmen abduct students in Zaria, Kaduna State. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Gunmen have attacked the Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic in Zaria, Kaduna State, abducting some students. Early reports suggest that at least one student died in the attack, while many others sustained various degrees of injury. The incident was confirmed by the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Affairs, Samuel Arwan. The Minister of Transportation, Chibike Amechi, has described the elites in Nigeria as very unpatriotic and corrupt. Speaking during the launch of the Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure Framework, also known as the Deep Blue Project, the minister, who said it does not collect contracts, explained how some politicians tried to ensure the project was not completed.
Just because of this project, 3 committees were set up against me. 3. One led by the Vice President, one led by the Minister for Defense, and then EFCC. And all of them were cabinet committees. The accusation was, this is Amechi's contract. Mr. President, I don't do contract. But I want to tell you why they did it. Nigerians are not patriotic. Most Nigerians, most elites. They were making billions of money in insecurity. So anybody who was fighting security, they will fight the person. And I was determined, sir. I was very determined.
He also said the project represents a comprehensive enhancement of Nigeria's maritime security capabilities, which is intended to curb crime.
This project is not that of a military, neither is it the Masters project. This is about Nigeria's ability to secure its future by exercising sovereignty over its territorial waters, protect maritime trade in the Gulf of Guinea, and position the country for the post-oil economy. Even if others don't understand, the Nigerian elite must understand and appreciate the idea of national interest. The contract for the Deep Blue project was signed on the 27th of July 2017 between the Federal Ministry of Transportation and Homeland Security International, as HLSI, with the matter as a discharge agency.
President Muhammadu Buhari has given approval to the return of open grazing practice during the First Republic, where herdsmen used designated grazing routes to move cattle to various parts of the country. The president said this in an exclusive television interview yesterday. President Buhari said he had asked the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, to begin the process of recovering land from persons who have converted cattle grazing routes for their personal use.
Ask them to go and dig the desert of First Republic when people were obeying laws. There is cattle routes and grazing area. Cattle routes where when they are moving up country, north to south or east to west, they have to go through there. So I asked for the gazettes, to make sure that those who encroached on these cattle routes and grazing areas will be dispossessed, and try to bring some order back.
The AGF had kicked against the declaration by 17 southern governors to ban open grazing, noting that it is like northern governors banning spare parts trading in the north. In business, the Director Information Technology Department, Central Bank of Nigeria, Mrs. Rakiat Mohammed, says the banking regulator will launch a digital currency before the end of 2021. Mohammed disclosed this during a press briefing on the Bankers Committee meeting. She said about 80% of central banks in the world are exploring the possibility of issuing central bank digital currency, and Nigeria cannot be left behind. In entertainment, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is over, and in the final episode, Kim Kardashian opened up about her relationship with Kanye and what she wants from a partner that was lacking in hers. Speaking to her mom, Kim confessed she had achieved everything she had set her mind to, yet she had no partner to share that with because she and her husband were mostly apart.
Am I just going to sit here and think, okay, my kids fulfill me and I'm good? And then I never thought I was lonely. And I always thought that's totally fine. I could just have my kids. My husband moves from state to state and I'm on this ride with him and I was okay with that. And then after turning 40 this year, I realized no, I don't want a husband that lives in a completely different state.
In sports, Euro 2020 starts today. The competition keeps its name even though it was delayed for a year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It will now run from 11th of June to 11th of July 2021 across 11 countries. The tournament kicks off with Italy taking on Turkey in Rome today and concludes with a final at Wembley in London on Sunday, 11th July.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
The man who slapped French President Emmanuel Macron has been given 4 months in jail. This is after he admitted to carrying out the act. Damien Tarrell told the court it was an act of impulse, but the prosecutor said it was a deliberate act of violence. The court heard that Tarrell subscribed to right-wing or far-right politics and was close to the Yellow Vest movement. President Macron has said the attack should not be trivialized but had to be kept in proportion. A second suspect who filmed the incident is facing prosecution for illegal possession of weapons after local authorities searched his home. He comes from the same town as Damien Tarrell. On the news this afternoon, you heard that Governor Nyesom Wike has tackled the State Task Force and Riwama in his statewide broadcast. Stakeholders have been speaking on the state of the nation ahead of Democracy Day tomorrow. Gunmen have abducted students in Zaria, Kaduna State. On the foreign scene, you heard that the man who slapped the French President Emmanuel Macron has been jailed. The news was edited by Chioma Ezewa. For contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Light showers expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. Thank you for listening and bye-bye for now.